get the type of pick that he shines on.
Are they gonna go? So Kalista
Caitlyn
plus
Ash
Renata is available, and they go for the double
しました。
poke lane.
ワー
With
ク
the
ス
Ash
は
not
サ
being
ポート
banned,
シートリ
Caitlyn
ンと合わ
Ash
せ
here
て
so much poke power, so much
冷
pushing
静
power
勝
for
ちに行
bottom
きます。
lane. I want to see if they try and like attempt to still pick the short
そ
range
して
towards
カリスタ
Renata into it and try and get some ganks off, try and get some pressure there, or opt to also go with a double poke.
And I want to reiterate, Ruler's
カリスタやれるのか。
was banned for
ル
years
ーラーの
in the LCS. It didn't matter whether the champion was
Oh,
meta.
baby.
He
ルーラー
was
の
just
かなり
not
得意なチャンピオン。
allowed to play it. And he even faced into a counter
カリスタ。
matchup on the Ashe, which obviously has a really
こ
good
れ
matchup
サポート
into
どうするんだろう
this.
な。
Still going to trust himself,
チート
trust
相
his
手にいけるの
mechanics,
か。
trust
僕
his lane
ちょっとわ
partner
かんないん
to
ですけど。
try and get a lead there.
And I think the sad thing for Ruler is if you look at the previous game, it wasn't really about his proficiency in the 2v2. He had no lane prio, trapped under his tower, couldn't find an angle into a fight. And it's a similar story for Missing on the Alistar. A lot of these aggressive engages just not paying off. So see if this will be a different story with the Kalista, with the comfort pick, with almost a signature pick,
アジール。
backing him up here. The Vi now coming out as well. Again, safe, pretty standard jungle pick, but T1 opting to mismatch here. Not going to pick a jungler. We'll lock in the Azir for Faker. See what they end up getting for Owner as we get later in the draft, and what JDG can secure for Missing in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I kinda actually like JDG jumping on the Vi pick here to combine with the Orianna ball for the delivery system back to the double low mobility AD carries to the side of T1, but it does mean you're going to drop your support pick here, and you guys are talking about Missing. He's going to receive several extra bans here. The Nautilus right off the top of it here. They're trying to take away more of that hard engage to protect their backline.
And Gwen here signals maybe
Renata.
Kasante for 369. He really
Renata
struggled in
可能性あります。
this game. Can also look
ミラーはダメで
towards
す。
the Ornn because I do think that that is one of the
と
tools that
チェ
can
リアさん
really
の
frustrate
ADC
these
サポート
low
ピック
mobility but
マッ
really
クスはサポー
high
トピックによ
power
る被害者の
bot
方
lane
が
carries for community
長文
carrier.
長文
That's
コメン
been
トで
taken away. Shouldn't be a
対応しております。
given that neither of them really have a
チェ
good
リ
way
ア
of dealing
やめるん
with
だ
it.
アッシュピ
And
ッ
you
ク
can snowball the lane very early on if you land some key hooks.
ノーチブリッツバーンしましたフック
Presumably just
フッ
jungle.
クチャンピオンバーン
They
して
counterpick for Zeus on the top side of the map.
レンズと押し込んでいく
Again, champion pool was a question for Owner, but he's shown that he does
イン
pretty
ダー
good.
配信はダメですライオットから許可を得られないとできません
Oh yeah, just that incredibly high priority
Just
champion we've
Maokai.
seen the entire tournament. Yeah, it will be the Maokai locked in.
Zeus が
Combined
ラス
with
ト
the
ピッ
Hawk
ク
shot, combined with the
369
Royal Snap
カサン
Trap,
テ
it
で
is
し
going
た
to be impossible for
カ
JDG.
サンテに対してはジャックス、グウェン、フィオラ、エイトロックス
like Jace or something like that.
この辺りがピックされま
It
す
is
か
early into the Cassante though, so.
セナサポートいましたねこんな
The
チャンポン
Senna plus Kalista lane
採用はカサンテに対して出せません
the poke Ash
どこぼこに
case.
されます
And I think a lot of the reason that we've seen Senna be successful in this tournament is because she goes into relatively low range
マッ
opponents.
クスマン
Things
4人
like
ド
the
ットにいます
Kai'Sa
な
Rel. Both Ashe and Caitlyn have good tools to contest Senna's soul stacking in the early lane phase.
Aatrox
But we have to
でした
hope that JDG have something special prepared here.
Aatrox seems to be the no-brainer
結構
here.
苦しいです
Zeus, I'm sure, is going to
採用対
go
カサン
down
テ
even facing Cassante. But I think the main
かなり
thing
の
with
カウンター
Senna
で
and
すカサン
Kalista
テ
is
が
that their level 1 is absolutely nuts.
勝てま
And
せ
I'd
ん採用
expect
じゃ
this to go back to what we saw in the LCK in Spring Countless Times Out, where literally it just you heal level 1, you just
ダメ
fight to the
わ
death,
かりや
fight
す
over
い
control of the wave.
お互いボ
Because
ットレ
whichever
ー
of
を
these two lanes gets
ボ
ahead
ットレーン
is
で
going to
頑
have
張る
a really easy time to, from
頑
then
張ろ
on,
うミッ
keep
ド
their
レーン
opponents
盛り上
on
が
the
って
back
アジ
I'm
ル
excited
ア
for
ジル
this
かな
one.
り苦しい
Carry
と
is
思う
the
けど
master of these double AD bottom lanes, so this is going to be a fist fight down there.
And with T1 one game ahead, now on red side, we know what JDG is likely to pick in the next game as well, pushing T1
Yeah,
back
but
there.
Trent.
You have to hope if you're a JDG
どうなる
fan
のか
that JDG can show us more, that they can match more, because if T1 find the same advantage that they did against LNG
ボーナスス
with
テー
these
ジの
incredibly
車
aggressive bottom
ボー
lanes,
ナスステージ
as
な
a
んですよ
blind
カサン
pick
テに
this
とって
time,
採用
that's
は
a big red flag as we get deeper into the series.
And this JDG comp does need to stack
ま
those
た
dragons
JDG の
to
負
be
けで
able
し
to
たこれ
get that win con there for them. Make use of
賭
the
け
land to secure it.
あれ
Oh
これ
my
賭
goodness,
け
so much pressure
え
here
っ
on.
と
And talk about pressure, 369 needs to have a better game on the Cassante.
T1
This is something that obviously
JDG
talks so much about the journey of this
solo
player,
carrot.
going from someone that could only play carries to someone that, and we
よし
saw this both
投票時
domestically
間
and
2
at
分
MSI, is the best tank player in the world, right? The way he's able to create...
I love how Zeus is like making you
Yes,
question
yes,
it.
so
I mean,
Kaishi.
wait a second, a
I mean,
couple of
because
series here.
I mean, 369, I don't think it's had the best tournament thus far, right? So I
チャンネル
think
ポイントい
it
くらで
isn't
もかけてくれ
unreasonable. Having a big Cassante game here, though, is going to be pivotal And I'd expect him to bounce back the way that JDG have done countless times throughout this year.
We'll see if he can do it, but in the meantime, his team's set up their level 1s. Remember that you can log into your Riot account on LoLesports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes and icons. There it is. Bam, LoLesports.com. Get those drops, folks.
And let me remind you, this JDG team, even though they got blasted in game number 1, this is the quintessential super team. When they added Knight and Ruler to this squad, two of the best carries in the entire world here, their goal was to complete this golden row from the very beginning. This is constructed. This team is constructed to win the entire thing. And they've done so much work to get to this point. T1 though, Faker said, him trying to stand between them and that huge achievement. Keria on the level 1 is going to lead the way with the Ash.
Zing taking so much damage. Keria has to be careful. Will he be forced to flash over the wall for now? Standing strong. 369 in the backside.
ありがとうございます。僕にチャンネルポイントを登場していただきました。そこ実はチャンネルポイント寄付枠なので、すいません、今のうちに謝罪します。なんだこれ、アラム始まった。マオカイがファーストブラッド取ってカリスタが1キル。これ T1 バースが怪しいぞ。これカリスタに1キル入っちゃった。
We already had the Scrim World Championships. Now we have the Aram World Championship as well.
It is a RAR. It is all random, all rafters, not mid. Kobe just.
ボットレーンの主導権が。あ、でもケイトリンにも1キル入ってる。
That actually solidifies it because the moment that Owner hits 2, T1 feels the confidence, and I understand that JDG feel confident to take this because again, I think Kalista and Senna in these level 1 skirmishers are incredible, but T1 is so ready.
これなんかレベル1でアラーム始まりました。
It's the range.
Chunked fully out by the double range bot lane, the double AD carry, and then Owner says, you know what? We're going in for this. He all-ins. Goes for the flash W, they get the first blood plus the extra one.
And missing dying there with his flash up as well is really painful because that is so much gold going over very early on to Guma's mid lane and providing T1 with the early lead that they're looking for in this lane.
Also, Knight blowing his flash here in mid lane for the Orianna might be painful. Faker's gone for the Hail of Blades. This has been a rune choice that actually hasn't won that many games technically. Faker was actually the guy that did win the game with Hail of Blades, but it does also put out more pressure early on in the lane phase than the Conqueror style, and now with Knight also not having flash, maybe there are some owner angers here for the Maokai, setting up the saplings around mid lane for Faker to really play
For
now, 369 on the side of the map. Knowing he's relatively safe to do this as Kanavi is shadowing him in the river. Can just clear out that wave, stay out of the individual 1v1 with Zeus. Owner moving in, laying down a little bit of vision here, going to contest this red. Remember, because he got that level 2, because he got that first hand, he really wasn't hampered at all from that level 1.
Oh, is it going to time out? No, we'll spot him. And there is double prio here for T1.
Walking away, 700 health going in, not quite able to get it! Owner, Kanavi!
Early smite, Owner. Early smite there. Kanavi very happy to be able to grab that one back.
That's really big. A lot of time invested there for Owner without any
誰もやらないんですけど、プロプレイヤーは。この動き本当に強いです。
I can proxy another wave with no problem.
CS 絶対に落とさないし。
He is able to maintain this early CS lead, build up over Zeus.
We got the ARAM championships. We got Farming Simulator on the top side. This game has it all. Now we got a Maokai gank in the bottom. Ruler has to be careful, just barely gets around the trap. The cleanse isn't going to be enough. Walking in, one more on the flash.
Oh, nice flash.
Seals the deal. Missing, trying to fire back with Keria. Blinking, Kanavi.
体力1ミリまでアッシュ変えたけど倍のガンク。いや、バリアを見てからタイミング待ちましたか、バイさん。
Then flashes in, gets the extra kill. Kanavi pulling this one back for JDG.
And that's the gold lead for T1 now evaporated thanks to that timing from Kanavi.
Is really critical for Kanavi trying to save the game plan here for JDG, because that would have been devastating if Ruler went down, both summoner spells blown by Ruler as well, without any repercussions there. It would have greatly diminish the chances they could actually stack their dragons.
On the flip side, though, Gumayushi actually was able to pick up so much more CS and maintained his summoners. Did not have to flash here, as we take another look at that play.
Okay, so Owner trying to chase them, pass the trap here, goes in, he gets the cleanse out
い
first,
やールーラーの素晴らしいクレンズ
waits
タイ
for
ミ
his
ング。
timer, flashes forward to get the extra kill, but Kanabi we know coming around the
ケリアの
outside,
この
and he picks up the first one on Owner really nicely.
耐えられるというデスラインですよ。
Waits patiently, wards in the brush even though there is a control ward there, flashes in as soon as
バイ
the
のフラッシ
barrier's
ュ。
over to get number 2.
Missing flashing in the backside there just to be careful. Ultimately, it's just kind of a mess
ニコ
on
ニコ
the
してま
bottom
す。
side.
にっこり。
With some good kills traded back and forth there. Zeus level 6, but at a man disadvantage, we'll make it back. Dark and Blade just locking down Kanavi briefly as Zeus will just return to the top side. Already 369 picking up some Thorn Mail. Bramble Vest,
And it's like, it feels like the first moment that we've had in this game where there is nothing happening, where we have a little bit of downtime. I don't know how long it's going to last.
これレベル
Owner
1
is
の
already wrapping
フ
around.
ァイトで
Does get
俺らだ
spotted
けフラッシュな
in
く
the
なった
second
か
hit by
ら
Ruler, but
There's
序
no
盤
doubt
苦しい
there's
味で
only
も
fighting.
どうに
Owner
か
on
連
the
絡
bottom
で
side
き
of
て
the
ますよ。
rift. Carrier will back away. Just fighting to gain control of the lane. They've got no jungler in the area, but Missing just going to do what he can to clear out the saplings and try to protect the control ward. Will get taken away here.
And you can tell, they had no idea where Kanavi was because that Ashe Hawk shot went to go
いや魔を
over
嗅い
their
だボッ
own
トの
raptors
面
and
倒を見てあげま
Krugs
す。
to see if Kanavi was counter jungling at the time, but Kanavi was on his way down towards that fight, down towards the bottom side, so Owner has to get out of there. They were very unsure.
ボットの主導
and
権
definitely respecting
本
this
当に大
two
切
kill
ですか
buy.
らこれ。
And after game number 1, where JDG was really put too far behind for them to showcase their team fighting, this game looking a whole lot different, right? Actually staying on
いやお
even
互いの
goal
ジャングラーボッ
here
トを見
early
てあ
on
げ
in
ま
the
すよ
game.
当然。
And it's not like that top side isn't gonna be a menace when it comes to team fights.
Kanavi on the way out. Missing getting slowed up. First the Black Mist coming through just to make sure he can get out to safety.
わあ
I think it's
セナが
excellent
強い
play. Kanavi
今の
especially
球は。
against a hawk shot, against the Maokai sapling, still able to find those kills on the bottom side is a big credit to him because it could be so tricky to remain undetected in the jungle against a composition like this. Level 6 though, taking over for Guma.
Yeah. While there are so many stars on JDG,
ケイトリンがウル
Kanavi's
ト
been
で
the one on the
セナ
team
に
for the
嫌がら
longest
せ
with
してい
his
く。
4-year tenure here. And is going to be a key component this time around, especially those junglers looking for their level 6s.
お互いに
Don't quite have the angle to get the pull back there. All right, walking up and grabbing the honey fruit will be
お
spotted
互いに
on
ボットの
division.
重要さは
But
よく分
just
かってい
there
ると思いま
for
す
a
か
little
ら
bit extra laning sustain as 369 is going to do his best to pick up
絶
these
対に
free
負けないよう
has the
に
biscuit, so no concerns on the mana front.
守っていきます味方の
And I
レー
think the
ナーを。
Kanavi angle is something that people have to appreciate and respect because this is a guy that after his time in Griffin, it was kind of a question mark as to where his career was going to go. And those initial years on JDG weren't nearly as glamorous as this one has been. So the fact that he has stuck with this team through thick and thin, that the organization has stuck with him to reach this point against T1 is a testament to the tenacity of that player.
There was also just, even when JDG wasn't nearly as successful as they have been throughout this year, already so much talk amongst a lot of LCK junglers as well about the creativity.
リコール止めた。これは大きい。
were spearheaded
ただカサンって最初プロ棋士してたから
and he is the one with the most gold
あ
on
の
JDG
エイトロックス
right
人だけ
now.
ティエポット使わせてたので
Because the follow-up
ヘルポットで戻ってくることはできますね。
is, I think, a really big part of how they want to play out these early skirmishes.
All right, Owner should get level 6 off these wolves, I think, for the Maokai. And Kanavi's already starting up Rift Herald, so it should be a dragon trade for the Rift Herald. I don't think T1 want to fight anything up on the top side of the map.
ヘラ
And
ル
they'll be
トとド
happy
ラゴンの交換。
actually to trade these objectives. But that does mean JDG will have the extra pushing power and try and snowball here. Big gold injection from this Rift Herald. And already to a very rich Vi. They're going to have to make a very big Vi ultimate plus shockwave play to make this worthwhile.
Also do note, and this is something in the last game Zeus got away with, because Kawan, he was mega fed as
ト
all.
ップバトルしてるエイトロックス逃げないと。
Pushing for a bit more, but nothing going to come from it. Just an ult for ult trade. By stepping up, Kanavi ready to go. Just baiting out the Dark and Blade, however, Zeus to clear the wave and should be fine.
But as I was saying earlier, the fact that Zeus is going for this full lethality build, as Owner does get spotted, there is almost teleport available for Knight. We'll see the responses available here. Kanavi also making his way over. Just the fact that in the 1v1, Zeus is going to have so much less pressure than he did in the last game. It's going to force T1 to meet JDG in straight-up team fights.
Biggest power spike on the whole map right now, though, is Kanavi finishing Divine Sunder. With his 2 early kills and his Rift Herald gold and Vi ultimate ready, the power is in his hands here to turn the tides for JDG.
わあ、ここまで来てリコール止めていきますか。
Not going to cost 369 much of anything, just delaying the recall. Trying to mess up the timings here from the side of JDG. Good news for T1 is that while it's not as dominant, Uma and Carry have been able to grab a couple plates on the bottom side. The power of this push in the bottom lane. It will get harder though as we get later in the game. Missing 38 souls as we getting 15 AD, 20 range, 10% crit chance. So despite the fact that he has almost no golden as a support, Senna will become a threat eventually.
Outside of specifically the Ashe though, and even Ashe obviously has a lot of value, but I do think she falls off as we get toward the late game. Oh, nice back cancel.
ここにも意地悪いた。
The
意地悪なしのウルトでリコール止めましたよ。
big late game menace, but you are meeting JDG in their biggest comfort zone, which is going to be the team fights. We'll see if T1 is actually able to stack up the early Drakes here with Mountain and Hackstack already out of the pool. We'll see what ends up being the soul. Because if JDG is able to snowball with the use of that Herald, might be tough for T1 to find a similar grasp of control as they did in the last game.
And that recall interrupt is actually really big for T1. It's going to allow Guma to get at least 1 turret plate here with Keria helping him push. Maybe they go for 2. Maokai on the way as well.
そうですね、まだ大きな動きはないですけれども、この後どんな感じになっていくのか。
Herald being dropped in the mid lane, at least 2 plates for Knight.
あ、
If they want to
こ
commit,
のヘラルドちょっと良くないですよ。
into the river to maybe try to leverage the power
こ
of
のヘラルド
Kanavi here.
JDG 側かなりいいですよ。
Power spike's pretty limited. Obviously stronger than the righteous glory. Flash
お
out from
お、
Kanavi.
バイのフ
Traded for the
ラッシュを
ultimate
使
faker.
わせる
Overall,
こと
very
に成
positive
功。
trade for T1 coming to the next fight.
All right, let's see if that does get punished. There's a slight bounty. The only bounty in the game is on Kanavi's head, so no flash. Slightly higher chance here for T1.
バイのフラッシュ。
But the mid turret plates kind of making up for the bottom side push there that T1 got. So JDG getting some money happily over there into the hands of Knight. The Orianna Shockwave in their hands this time around. See what they can do with it because Kanavi's going to help him get another turret plate.
No one there to body
マ
block
オ
for
カが
missing.
ウル
That
ト
could
で
be
捕まえに行きますけ
disastrous.
れども、やれるのかこれ。エイテロックスが裏から TP してます。
Ruler now trying to run for his life, kiting this one out. Zeus
カリスタを捕まえられるかエイテロックス。ちょっと難しいと思うけど。
with the shockwave at least managing to lock down the trade
で
kill.
もアッシュにシャットダウン入ったさっき。あ、ジェルが。
That is a teleport cooldown for Zeus.
バイのフラッシュ使わせておいてくれたんですよ。
369 gets to stay topside and get turret plate money.
Not only that, the shutdown went to Keria. You'd really much rather have that on Faker or Guma
裏さステップでエイテロックスのスキル避けました。
able to
さす
trade
がで
one
す。
for one, kill the shutdown rather doesn't even go to the ideal target
ムー
for
ビング
T1,
すごいですね。
and they're able to get plates
で
towards
もこれ
the
テレポート
top
した
side
エイテロックス
for
か
369 just
な
before they fall
り
off.
失うものが大きいですよ。
369 waiting in the darkness, hoping to get more out of that trade, but we can take a look at how this play starts out. The aggressive use of the ultimate from Owner.
Yeah, they use the Maokai ult to lock them up. Zeus with the teleport down, and then they go for it. But look how they're
まあ
able
カ
to
サンテと
focus
1
down
対
Owner
1しても
on
し
the
ょう
other
がないから
side.
っていうのは
And
分かり
the
ます。
nice dodge there on the Ashe arrow.
アウチャンピオンと1対1
Goes
して
one
て
for
も
one,
しょうがない
and
か
with
ら
the extra rend, slow
テレ
down
ポートの
here,
1
they
キロ
able
を
to
取り
kite
に行きましたけれども、
away, keep T1 without getting too much
トップのレ
damage
ーン
dealt
だ
to
け見たら
themselves here
苦しくなりま
outside
した
of
ね。
JDG, and that means we're gonna get some extra power spikes coming in as well. Knight very
で
happy.
もこれアンブラルドウェーブ完成しましたよ。
Now the one advantage
So
that
no
T1
差は
was
大きい
able to
で
get
す。
is that summoners are now down on Ruler and missing. Ruler still has his cleanse, but outside of that, does need to play a lot safer, and I think T1 are going to try and
今
leverage
そ
that
の瞬間の
into
チルだ
getting
けは
the
すごい
second
価値があっ
dragon
たと思い
here.
ます。
We'll see
アンブラル
if
できる
JDG
ので。
responds, but do not forget, if Zeus answers towards top, 369 can TP, but if Zeus doesn't answer, 369 might just be able to get a turret and further build the gold lead for JDG.
You take a look at the MasterCard lane economy. It's the mid jungle for JDG.
アンブラルできるとゾンビワードで視界も取れるから
control mid-prio, which means they control setup on the Drake, and it looks like JDG are going to respect that. Not looking to contest this one whatsoever. Do not have the vision, do not have the members in position. It will be a trade of the top lane tier 1 for the second Drake of the game to T1.
カーリー
Infernal
T1
Rift
側
coming through.
いいですよこれ、まあ、ドラゴン取った代わりにトップのタワー捨て
Yeah,
ま
the
すか
top lane bar gonna go a little bit further in the
Aatrox
favor of
が寄ってたんですけれども
369 after that one. But it's not gonna change too much how they want to play. Their
エ
team
トロックスの
comp
プレッシャー
here,
でドラゴンを取ったと
actually have a trailing play in the works here with Kanavi coming down to look to pressure Faker off.
Kanavi is so damn strong. The Maokai not going to be effective because it's just not soon enough. Flash out from Faker is
お
clean.
ー、オリアのウルトはジルフラッシュで避けていく。あ、ジル生き残るか。
JDG walking away empty-handed. No real way
素晴
to
ら
play
しいで
around
す。
that bot lane tower for now.
Will be able to, I think, at least get some damage down on the turret. Do get Faker's flash, but he does get away with his life. We'll see if T1 is able to find a counter punch or if that is just gonna be it. 369 continuing to shove as well. Should be able to get a lot of damage down towards this turret. And now Herald being started up by T1. This is
いやこれ
looking
デス
to
し
be
な
their
かったの
answer.
大きいな。
He is getting
うん
more and
これ
more
JDG
gold.
カサンテに一番お金が集まってますか。
Last game, JDG putting more effort
オリアナ
into
の
getting resources into
次
the
に
back
お金
pocket
持
of
ってます。
369. Staying even in CS, but getting so many plates, getting so much gold overall. Finishing his mythic item as well. T1 uncontested again. They took Drake. They've now taken the second Herald. It's been a smooth game so far in terms of objective control.
いやさっきからカサンテが育つ代わりにドラゴンとかヘラルド
Right, it's Infernal
T1
Solar and T1
が取ってます
up
ね
on Drakes, but they are falling further and further behind in gold. Faker doesn't have flash or his ultimate available.
It means there's a huge importance on getting your vision control leading up to the dragons, and whoever's gonna be able to get there first. Because Gumayushi, with the Caitlyn traps here, trying to get to dragon first and cut off one of those angles, line up the traps, make it so much more difficult for this hard engaged comp of JDG that's much shorter range to actually close that range and get there engaged. T1 definitely, a lot of the prep work will really benefit them around the dragon setup, but JDG, they've got a lot of angles to be able to force with.
アッシュのウルトは外れてしまった。
Not going to quite find the angle. Carrier clearing out as much vision as he can with the Umbral Glaive. Umbral Glaive bursts Umbral Glaive. Vision denial. Very easy for both sides in this game. But T1
さっき取ったヘラルドで敵のミッドタワーにダメージ与えていきますか。
very
カサンテが後ろから忍び寄ってます。
Owner stepping forward, using the ultimate. Maybe hoping to just generate space for the rest of the team as Missing's going to pick up more and more souls. But the mid lane tower is still standing for JDG. Both sides seemingly gearing up for a fight. Kanavi getting lower and lower.
おお、倍に
Will connect.
大ダメージ与えていきますか。アッシュのオートアタックもなかなかダメージ出ますよ。
Not really a lot to play for in the mid lane, to be fair. Both teams seemingly just grouping up, ready for the potential of a fight. Zeus in the side lane, clearing out here in T1, trying to push their vision line forward. And you highlighted it, Kobe. Both sides want vision control, but T1 get it so much more easily with the Ashe, with the Maokai saplings.
Exactly, that setup does so much. When every
こ
brush
れ
has
タ
a
ワー
sapling
取
in
れ
it,
そうですね。
and then every piece of land that's not a brush has a Caitlyn trap on it,
Yeah.
it becomes very annoying to navigate.
Something we haven't talked about as much yet, we are starting to kind of see here, is that Owner's Maokai historically just hasn't been that good, sitting on like a 42% win rate over the year, and particularly at the start of the year where the Maokai Sejuani trait was basically every single jungle matchup. Owner Sejuani, great, able to play that very consistently, particularly when he can sync up with his top side, but his Maokai hasn't been super impressive, and I think that that is going to be a lot of the team fighting power for T1. The arrow, again, doesn't find anyone as Owner.
ミッド折れたの大きいです。
Gonna dodge the abilities there, uses the phase rush to make it out to safety.
フェイズラッシュも買いだからこういうことができますね。
T1 holding on for now, but JDG just fighting, just poking their
Phase
heads into the
rush.
enemy jungle. We'll see the sapling in the brush there as Faker returns to the top side just to clear out and keep pressure in the favor of
結
T1.
構今大会序盤ファーストストライクとかいたけど、
really like the full tank phase rush style.
フェイズラッシュ
Maokai, since they do
かな
have
り
a Zero on
好
their
きで
team
すね、僕
already,
もマオカイ。
they'll need the extra AP damage from a demonic. He might
かな
have
り
a hard time here
安
working
全
his
に
way through all these JDG members
入っ
in
てい
the
ける。
brush though, lying in wait. Just trying to
アッシュのウル
catch
トかっ
any
こいいですね、
T1
この
member
ス
who
キン。
gets close to this dragon setup. Because JDG know that is a #1 goal for them, trying to keep T1 out of that setup.
Certainly is. The other big thing to keep
ア
an
ッシュ
eye
の
on
ウル
is
トは
item
クールダウン
spikes.
短いので、
One item and some change for just about
ど
everybody
んどん
on
打
the
ってい
rift.
ける。
See if anyone can hit their second item before we get into this third Drake. Baron on the table in 30 seconds, but I can't imagine either side will rush it. Instead, the Infernal, the center of attention, nearly perfectly synced timers on the major objectives.
And it doesn't look like we're going to see any other major item finishes. Ruler backed, but just a
いやー、アンドラルとゾンビワード強いな。
second item. And right now, T1 are moving into the river.
ドラゴンが湧きますよ。
Vision control.
インファナルドラゴンが。
For JDG. We'll see 369 also on a possible flank angle.
Ace in the hole used early just to chunk out Knight. And again, this is the struggle of the JDG lineup, is how do you gain control? No vision control, traps blocking one entrance, only one entrance left, meaning owner has perfect
いや、
setup
こ
for
の
an
ドラ
ulti
ゴ
to
ン
kick
ファイ
this
ト
fight
どうなる
off.
のか。
Arrow
アッ
gonna
シュのウ
connect
ルト
first.
でバイ
Konami
を
now
捕まえ
locked
てい
up,
く。
brings it back
バイ
from
のフラッ
Owner
シュ。
in the midst of everybody, and Zeus now on the way in.
もうかい、フロント張ったけど死亡。ちょっと良くないか T1。ちょっと良くないです。
They know that they've gotten what they came for. JDG now backing up.
2人死んでしまった。
This is huge. The entire front line from T1
パンチされております。
has been
パンチ
deleted.
と。
JDG, what a successful turnaround in that fight.
It's Konami with the in-the-moment decision to turn around
確かに
on
ちょっと
owner. And with the cooldowns down, no
戦う場所が難しかったか。
T1 isn't going to be able to get themselves
ゴリアラの棒で入っていけませんよ。
and JDG take control.
TP back in means first tower or tower in the mid lane in favor of JDG as well as the Infernal Drake. Faker going to be forced to run.
このドラゴンは渡して次頑張ろう。
The later you get in the game, the more clean this team feels, and they're proving it again here on the back of the play from Konami.
I have to feel like that was a bit of a blunder from T1 frontline, just charging in instead of
これ
trying to
マオ
play
カイの
off of their
W
extra
を
range,
バイラフラッシュで
their traps, their
奥に
posts. As soon as
奥
they
に
get
引き寄
this
せた
back
の
arrow
が
into
お
Triplex,
上手です
they've
ね
got
これ
the
は。
pop, and they go for it. Owner all ins.
これ
And then
このフラッシュ
they
お
flash
上
it
手です
deeper into the team, and then Vi ultimate keeps Owner here just long enough, so even
釣られ
as
た
he
なお。
flashes, they're able to get the kill as Ruler is able to rend them down.
And particularly against the Orianna, you can't try and fight through that, right? Not even 369 joined the fight. At that point, I think it was already mostly over. But just the threat of that Orianna ultimate should be enough to dissuade T1. They try to bite off way more, knowing how important this
い
dragon
や
is.
これカサン
and
テ
end
を
up paying
倒
for
し
it
きる
here.
まで
And
に
you
す
talk
ご
about
い
the
時間が
Dwayne
か
for
かり
Owner
そうで
being
す
the
な。
superior choice from over the Maokai. And the big difference between these champions is oftentimes Maokai's engage tools are much better reactively than they are proactively. You saw it there.
T1 の
Yes,
フロント
hit
は
so many people with the ultimate, but it's a very
マオカイし
short
かいない
loop
か。
duration
エイ
when
ト
you're
ロッ
that
クスも
close,
今の
and
と
your
ころ
entire
かなり
team
柔らかいビ
completely
ルドして
zoned
る。
away by JDG's backline threats, unable to follow up on what initially might have looked like a pretty good engage.
And JDG's comp also is so strong when they can absorb an initial blow and then re-engage.
エイトロックスまだセレゲトダック持ってるけどこれ何になるんだろう。 ナイトエッジかな。 あ、ナイトエッジですね。買いました。
T1 definitely want to play it slower than they just played the last one, without rushing in so much. But because they did, and the extra gold that has gone over to JDG
ね、
now,
ここからはまた静かなファーム時間ですか。
JDG,
ファーム
they're
タイ
in
ム。
such a much better position here to actually pull off this hard engage and chase them down. They've got Konami plus Knight combination ready.
And it's time to see what form are JDG in. We know this is their bread and butter, these states of the game where it seems close, where they've got these 2-item spikes and there are big objectives to fight around. T1 showed us what they can do with an early game lead with a massive advantage in their favor. If T1 are ready to fight fire with fire, to take it to these late game team fights, to out-execute a seemingly un-out-executable late game team fighting team.
And really big here as well is that Zeus hasn't actually been able to find the backline yet. And as we can see, 369 can just get prio on every single wave because Zeus doesn't win the one. Didn't even go for Eclipse. Right?
静かで
This
す。
is
非常
just
に。
full on Duskblade together with
とても
Edge
静
of
か。
Night. So his ability to chew through a, I don't know how much armor 369 is sitting on, but it's going to be way too much for this Aatrox to deal with. Makes it really hard for T1 to gain control of the side waves.
A's in the hole, not going to lead to much effect there. Command protect. Was the body block from Konami, keeping missing healthy. It's not an AP Maokai, as highlighted earlier, so the sapling's annoying most certainly, but more about the slow and the vision control than any actual damage. As
ライトロックスがかなり動き回って。
Knight finds the shockwave onto one. The TP
味
now
方を
coming in.
助けに行ってます。これ T1 大丈夫かこの形は。
Already going down. Guma off the rift. Carrier running for his life. Konami continuing to step
グマエシ死亡。
JDG have brought
あいじゃー。ゼウスが強いけどここまでか。
effortlessly three, but Faker now looking to fire back. Carrier bleeding on the back line, cannot do
オリアナヘルス体力1ミリで耐え切りました。僕もちょっとこれぐらいの感じでいくと JDG の方が強そうに見えますよ。カサンテ倒しきれないこれ。
Potential for a hero moment from Zeus from Carrier. Can they turn this one back? A lot of blinking health bars, a lot of cooldowns missing. Zeus, no flash. Objective getting lower and lower. Ren should just be able to finish it. They will grab the Baron, but T1 sticking around in the meantime, hoping to take the fight.
カリスタの力でバロン獲得。
Too many souls.
アッシュ死亡。
Too much damage. Faker goes in, but it gets absolutely nothing.
And JDG are one of the best teams at using Baron buff to end games. Let's see what they can get done with it. They're going to have a redirect all the way back to the fountain. Missing, going to brush that one off. But immediately, we saw Oriana Knight there. Went up to the top side to push the wave. And Oriana Knight right here gets a shockwave onto Carrier, almost killing him. Forcing the flash, forcing Faker to come over and peel. And this is where you get another counter engage from JDG. After T1 try to chase.
And the big thing there is the moment that Guma is gone, there just
Kasante
isn't going
倒し
to
きれないか。
be enough damage. 369 able to isolate Owner, which even though we do see Kanavi go down, ends up being fine for JDG. They have the confidence to just trust this Kalista.
ウーラーさん強すぎる。
And was so close there too. Zeus almost killed Knight.
ウーラーさんが中国に行ってしまったのは国の喪失ですよ。これは
Knight was able to escape. Then they forced
韓
down the
国の
Baron.
喪失。
Missing there with the flash forward. Faker trying to take down Ruler.
いやーこれ
all of JDG.
どうしよう。
You can see the brief moment of joy in the replay there. JDG very much in control of this game, gonna grab their second.
いやカリスタ一人で安心してドラゴン取れますわ。
Power play. Already 2.5k in their favor. Expecting to break down some tier
2000ダメージ出ます。
2s. A lot of great
いい
defensive
一
tools
発で
inside of T1 to at least slow this push
ス
down.
マイタより強いですな。
All right, buying time for the split push here. Even though they're sacrificing turret pushes here to Baron.
T1 は守れないものは捨ててサイドレーンでかもしますか、エトロックス。
T1 at this stage,
今
just
帰
do
りま
everything
す。
you can to hold on. 1 minute left on the Baron. You already took game 1 in style, just trying to hold on to some hope in this game 2 as JDG again. This is their comfort zone. Pressing this lead forward, taking these fights, these confident re-engages. Facing the hole again. Good damage onto missing, but you can heal up a lot of
They
that.
just get two? Nah, okay.
Particularly because it's
Yeah,
Lefebvre
Aatrox
Senna,
に
right?
ゴー
So
ル。
he's going to fire 2 Qs. He's going to be completely
や
fine.
め
And
て
the damage
反
hasn't
応しま
actually
したね。
been that meaningful.
敵が戻ってく
From
る
this
の
point
で
on, JDG with the Red Bull Baron power play should be able to, as we've seen,
枠でファームする
already
と
3K gold lead. Additionally, should
取ら
be
れ
able
ま
to
した
set
カリス
up
タ
with
で
the map
悲
control
しい
they
で
have
す。
now to get themselves to that Infernal Soul point. And there'll be no one on T1 that can stand up to the amount of damage that's going to be output by this JDG comp in the
こ
team
の人
fight.
がじゃあ
Particularly
チーム
once
ゲームの
Knight
神
finishes
様。
his death cap.
That's what I was
That's gonna,
looking
that's
チーム
lights
ゲームを
out.
極めし者たち。
Double needlessly large rods already for him. Going for a recall now. Might even have some fine money. All right, they're going to continue to split push here. Sending 369 down to bottom side to catch Faker's attempt to get another
Aatrox
objective
CS はすごい
bounty.
ぞ。
Faker going for the bottom side
283。
turret objective bounty there, while the rest of JDG
キー
push
トで
on.
4個は必要ですか。あと1個は半ぐらいお金が必要。
369 there to pick up the CS. Won't be able to stop the tower take. JDG not afraid to walk up. 90
バランバフ
souls
な
on
くなっ
missing
た。
about to have 100 extra range here. Just gonna continue to rain down auto attacks, rain down Qs.
結構 T1 きついと思います。
Faker though taking the scuttle crab as well, just trying to guarantee a little bit of vision control over the area. 2.5 minutes on the Baron.
T1 側が苦しいんじゃないかなと。
Not soul for either side, but arenas for both teams to pick fights.
And now T1 is in a position where
ただマオカイのウルトとかアッシュのウルト、アジールのウルト、ケドリのトラップ、
Carrier hitting an arrow, but if you look at the targets,
いろん
really
な
hard
CC
to
持ってますから
consistently hit many of the members.
何
369
か
doesn't
きっかけに
catch
逆
any
転できる
arrow. Kanavi
可
can
能
easily
性
get
も
out of the way. Same for
あると思い
Ruler.
ます。
Or you need to have Owner go in, but particularly with the build he's gone for and how far he's behind, he's not going to be able to take the brunt
これ
of that
オリアナの
damage.
ビルド
So
すごい
really
ですよ。
T1 just hoping that 369
ダメージがすごいです
into a play, and there's a moment for a Faker or Gumayushi can take over a team fight.
マオカイ
Meanwhile,
騎士
with
の
all
誓
this
い買ってま
money
す。
that JDG
味
and
方を守ってい
Kanavi
く。
especially have gotten is a Guardian Angel completed for the Vi. So he, as a jungler, can go straight headlong into the rest of the team, deliver that shockwave to the back line, and still be able to get up
これカサンテ倒せるのはアジールだけです。アジールしかいないカサンテ倒せるのは。
Kasante split pushing, getting these outer towers down for his team.
ケイとアッシュ、ATOX だとちょっと無理だ。
The JDG engage is massive.
Yeah, and for T1, you kind of tried to pull the trigger twice. Owner throwing the ulti over the wall, Owner going in on the Vi, and both times it's worked against you, and you're kind of out of attempts. If you fumble one more engage, if JDG get the better of you in one more fight, it feels like it's just game over here in game 2 of the series.
いや、浮いてる敵をキャッチして、一人一人して、人数差あるときに頑張ると。
I'd argue that they've already run out of life,
それを今待ってるんじゃないでしょうか、
T1.
T1.
And particularly with the amount of summoners that are available for JDG, I just
それまではお
it's really
互い
hard
ファー
to
ムタイ
imagine
ム。
a scenario where someone like Ruler, for example, gets caught at the start of a fight because you have so much innate safety. Missing can be pulled back by Ruler as well, as Knight does now finish his death cap. Gotta imagine that Baron and Soul Point next on the table for JDG.
僕は心を入れ替えてキングワードを購入することに決定しましたので、
It is definitely going to be a
皆さんよろしくお願いします。
front line is concerned, and guess what? Baron and Dragon very close to both spawning here, only 10 seconds away.
この前の配信タイトルは、これからキングワード購入します。申し訳ございませんでしたというものになってます。
Our site trinket keeping information on the Baron. Baker using the passive.
確かに死ぬほど買うんですよ、プロの人たち。
priority carry of fishing with the arrow, it will not connect.
とあるプロの方、1試合で何個買ってたかな、20何個とか買ってて、びっくりしましたよ。お金全部キングワードに消えてた。
They have control right now, but T1 playing more up to the Baron, not worried about third Drake for JDG. Clearly much more worried about losing control on the Baron side. Kanavi going in, immediate start of the fight. Baker now.
バイフラッシュインだ、ジーロを瞬殺していく。ガーディアンエンジェルがあるから強気にできますな。でもキートリンはガーディアンエンジェルのカウンターではあります。ストップウォッチのカウンターでもある。カサンテ倒しきれません。誰かやばいや。
And with 280 carries, there is no way that the Nexus isn't going to fall, and JDG come back with a resounding victory here in game number 2.
会場 CG はしょうがないかも。韓国凱旋ですから。ゴールド効率のためにピンクワード購入してなかったんですけど、これからは一つは購入しておくようにします。チームのためにプレイします。すみませんでした。いやー、アジールがバイのフラッシュインで瞬殺されちゃったから、もう誰もカサンで倒せなくなった。お疲れ様です、ジリアさん。T1 対 JDG の2試合目です。いやー、T1 苦しいです、これ。バロン取られちゃった。ドラゴンを。実質決勝です。
That's objective, not going to be the case. 369. I don't think he really cares. And he, to me, is the pivotal part.
オリアナのフルビルド、フルダメージビルド強すぎる。かすったら死んでしまうチャンピオンがいますよ。
Firing back certainly in game 2, got more support, got more time alone to farm up. You can see why is considered the best team fighting top laner.
アジェルだけだ、カサンテを倒せるの。
No GA available.
オーメンまで通ったこのカサンテ。
As much damage as he does, he's still incredibly squishy. Navi threatening, JDG threatening, just trying to force these waves forward.
いや、一生懸命ウェーブクリアしてタワーを守りに行きますよ。
Wave not there, 369 again. Lives to body block Ace in the hole.
And it's so hard here to kill 369. Guma doesn't have a Lord Dom, so it's only Faker that maybe eventually can chew through.
やばいに結構ダメージは入ってる。
Backing away, they don't want to overstay for the fight. With a shockwave, a looming threat from Knight, level 17, death cap, shadow flame. He and Kanavi work together. It's a death sentence for T1, no
カ
doubt.
サンテ硬すぎ。
JDG just backing off. They got what they came for. 2 inhibitors. Now, finally, they will turn their attention to this Drake. The map is theirs. They'll do things when they so please. And 369 doesn't take damage.
あ、これは JDG の勝利になりそうですか。
But it is going to be the secure of all the
ド
neutral
ラゴン
objectives.
3体目、インファーナルソウル3体。
JDG methodical here.
Missing will take exactly 1 soul from the Drake. Finds it canonically incorrect that it drops 2.
3番と言っても過言ではない。
Alright.
過言ではないか。
Keep up the Baron, empowered pressure. Yamiushi trying his best here to put
オ
up
レ
these
ナさんの
Caitlyn
火力
traps,
すごいです。
put a stop to the onslaught. But
耐えられま
JDG
せん。
overwhelming.
Ruler off to the side. Unafraid. Carrier, arrow back up.
いや、これ守りきれません。
Again,
守
wall
りき
breaker
れない
charge every time.
どうやっても。
Kanavi goes for the angle. T1 forced to back up just a little bit more.
アジールのプッシュ能力でどうにか耐えてはいる。耐えてはいるけど、ちょっとずつ皮が削られてますよ。
Double cannon minions, one will
キャ
be
ノンミ
cleared
ニオンの
away.
攻撃で。
23 seconds left on the Baron. Can they break open this bot lane tower? Traps are there. 369 solo zoning off as meanwhile
いや、
Kanavi
上
just
から
walks
ス
in
ー
with the
パー
Baron
ミニオン
powered
の群れ
minions
が
just
来て
to
ます。
threaten the
守
Nexus.
れねえよ、これ。
JDG, they're chokehold
誰
on
か
T1 and they're starting to squeeze
誰か
T1.
オレリオンソルムを食え、追加で。
A lot of options left, but the arrow going
アッ
wide.
シュのウル
Potentially
ト
the
を
last
外
sliver
し
of
てい
hope.
く。
Now fading in this game too. Missing taking a big chunk of damage here.
お
No
うち
wave.
守れ、おう
T1
ち。
still able to clear it. Finally, bot wave now coming
これ
in.
セーフ
It
か。
feels like an inevitability, but it's not
まだか。
over till it's over. T1 ready for one potential final
おうち
fight.
守り
Zay's
ます。
poking off to the side still. Has a bit more armor pen now. Can't start to hurt 369.
あー、通常式でアンストッパブル持ってるとか、インチキかよ、このチャンピオン。 カサンテを許すな。
They're too controlled. They will not take the bait. They will walk away, knowing that victory is inevitable as long as
お、
they do not
許
make
さ
a
れたか、これ。
mistake.
おうち守れたか。
And this is about as secure as you can go,
Safe.
right? You want to ensure that you don't somehow give an opportunity to T1 to get a miraculous team fight, like a multi-man shuffle into Zeus, knocking people up, trying to blow up your backline. Because as you say, as long as you don't do that, as long as you play it out safe, you are going to get Infernal Soul in about 2 minutes. You'll be able to
普通の
get
チャンピオンは
the Baron as well. You can win this game
アンストッパブル
without ever fighting,
通
which
常
I,
スキル
as
に
an
持ってないん
Elspeth,
ですけれ
really
どもね。
appreciate.
カサンテ
And
君は
what
何
we've
で持っ
learned,
てる
if
んですか
nothing
ね。
else, is that the
しか
golden
も
run
公開
has
時
some
間
pretty
が長
strict
すぎ
speed
る。
limits in these late game
Well,
scenarios.
I think with 3 inhibitors down, you can just go into their base, and as long as you respect the engage and the Ash Arrow, you should be able to just use the
これス
pressure
ーパーミオ
to
ンで
wear
ファー
them
ムして
down.
モリモリ
T1 are gonna
レ
get
ベル上げ
very
ていきます
desperate
か。
here. They have no territory to work with double
今回アッ
super
シュ、
minions
キ
coming
トリ
down
のレ
every
ベルを上
single
げていく。
lane is a multiplicative effect. They buff each other up. You just have to wait in there and not give an engage opportunity. Have to be a little bit careful about that
いや、
one.
サポートアッシュでは倍にダメージ与えられず。
For the angle, missing could be in trouble here. Zayas
い
on
や、
the
これ
backside,
マオカイのウル
looking
ト
to
当
walk out,
たったのが
trying to take
カ
down a
サ
bit
ンテ
more
のみ。
damage. Very effective. Knight going golden. Has a bit more space. Kanavi
ま
now
ずい。
on the way in. In goes Kanavi, and that should just be it. T1 holding on for dear life. Faker uncontested on the backside. Gumichi going golden, but he is going to go down. The flash out will not be enough.
待って
GA up just in time to keep Kanavi standing. It's a clean ace in the base of T1. And
GG.
JDG will move on and close out game
カサンテ
2.
強すぎ。
It's a textbook game from JDG.